Yes.
Yes, okay. All right, welcome to
Sorry, I was thinking of
Improvement and
Rangers Park.
Services for March 13th, 2024. We'll do a roll call. Alder Campbell.
Here.
Alder Eck.
Yes,
Alder
here.
Weary.
Here.
And Alder Stoyer. We are all here. So, let's get back here. Agenda. Hold on. All right. So, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve.
By Weary,
would-
seconded by Eck.
Second.
I'd like to
Oh,
make-
go ahead.
yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
And I'm trying to see, which number is yours, Garrett? 5 and 6?
I don't have a standard item here.
What?
Well, it says
You just
Hinkle.
said chief?
Oh, never mind, these are
Chief.
signals from,
Oh,
I always see that Hinkle and it makes me think of you. Okay, I'd like to move
it's
number
nice to meet up
5.
with something, right?
Yeah, you're the Hinkle guy.
Clerk.
I'd like to move 5 up to be the first thing on the agenda, please.
Okay. So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell, all in favor? That's to amend that. Now we need all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Now we need for the approved agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Eck, seconded by Campbell, all in favor?
Aye.
Please say aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, we'll get to number 5 then right away. And that would be consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to enter into a professional services agreement with North Star Environmental Testing LLC for indoor air quality and hazardous materials assessment services in the amount of $25,000, $472 per record. And
Okay, in the packet, we have provided you with a background that the police station is currently under review for potential renovations and HVAC upgrades. An indoor air quality and hazardous material assessment is required to determine potential design considerations and/or additional costs for addressing indoor air quality. The city did solicit proposals from qualified environmental consultants. We received one. Staff is recommending awarding the contract to North Star Environmental Testing for the indoor air quality and hazardous materials assessment. We have also included a copy of the proposal that North Star provided to the city in the packet, so we'd be here to answer any questions that the committee has.
Okay. I haven't, so this is for the entire city throughout,
No, that's just for the police department.
just for the police department? Okay. Chief, do you have anything to add for that? Just, would you like to see it?
Not really. I mean, we do have a lot of ongoing just concerns among employees, and just regarding the air quality. We know there is some kind of air handling, air movement issue in the building, just because, some offices will be, there are sometimes we'll go in an office and it'll be 59 degrees in one office and 80 degrees in another one. Some of those kind of issues, and then with our property and evidence room, there's a very strong smell a lot of times of some of the illegal substances that get stored in there. So we just really need to wrap our minds around what is the status of the air movement system in the building.
Okay. Committee, anything?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck, seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion, all in favor?
Didn't say a word.
It was him.
Oh, you said?
It was Weary.
Really?
I was moving my
Well,
hand.
He goes,
I was going to ask
Very-
a
I'm
question.
like, I heard it from over
Seconded.
here. I did it, and then he seconded, yeah.
All right, sorry about that. Alder Weary. Seconded by Worry. Any other discussion, all in favor, please say aye. All opposed?
So I can move your
They had something on the news today about New Orleans, that their police room with all their drugs, marijuana, rats are invading it, eating all the evidence. So hopefully we won't get to that. Wow. No, that's crazy.
I don't think they're going very far.
No, they're happy.
Said they weren't.
All right, let's go back. Number 1, consideration with possible action on a request by Harry Mazahari to rescind invoice number 181677 in the amount of $101.84 for snow and ice removal at 840 South Monroe Avenue on 1/18/24. Director.
Okay, in the packet, we have included a copy of the letter that staff received from Mr. Mazahiri contesting the validity of our snow removal charge. We've also included a copy of the invoice that he's referring to, a copy of the snow and ice control paperwork that our field staff put together, the complaint that was received through request for service, then a series of photographs. First photograph shows before we removed snow and ice. Second one shows after. I know they're kind of hard to see because it's a photocopy of a photograph. But when you get to the third photograph, the one that shows the boxes,
Right.
what you can see is the speckling where we drop salt to melt that adhered snow and ice layer. So the photographs 3 and 4 very clearly indicate, you can see on there where we have come through with the toolcat and mechanically removed as much as we could and then did a salt application after that. We've included some additional information from the first time that he reached out to the operations division and similarly contested that we didn't complete any work. So what the resident is disputing is that we needed to remove snow from the sidewalks at any time on 118. The photographs pretty clearly indicate that he was not down to bare concrete, which is the requirement to remove the snow from the sidewalk. If the snow was removed on another date, where could it have been safely removed to other than the adjacent public thoroughfare? All the snow was removed either into his front yard or into the public right-of-way. He's indicating that due to the historic nature of the property, snow removal is significantly constrained. I think we've demonstrated by our ability to go in there and remove it that that's not the case. He's saying that the snow came onto his property by natural circumstance. We don't disagree. It's still your responsibility to remove it from a public sidewalk, and that he's saying that Green Bay, he's disputing that Green Bay does not have the legal authority to levy a fine. This is not a fine, it's a fee for service provided. We provided the service, so staff's recommendation is to deny his request to rescind.
I notice there's a sidewalk all the way through too, so that,
Yes,
so someone obviously complained, right?
yes, well, we've included a copy of the complaint.
Right, okay. All they're worried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director, you said in the past there had been issues here? Did I?
He had the same event, he had reached out first by letter
Oh, I see.
to Operations Division, then a few days after, so his letter to Operations Division doesn't have a date on it, but they're at the end of the packet for that item. Appears it must have been on or about February 7th. Then subsequent to that, he reached out to me on February 20th for the same invoice.
You know, the meeting was tonight, right? Or,
Yeah, he was notified.
okay. And the alderman for the area or alderperson, is that Gelvin, maybe?
I think it is.
Should be, yes.
Any comments?
Sir,
None.
are you here for? Tony, how do you do? You look familiar.
No,
All
that's all I
right.
had, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anybody else? Otherwise, I'd entertain something here, motion possibly.
I gotta look at the actual. The motion to deny?
Okay, second.
Okay, motion by X, seconded by Weary. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
There was a motion to
Deny.
deny.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, number 2, consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to award purchase of 2 tandem axle dump truck bodies, plows, and wings to Monroe Truck Equipment in the amount of $320,000 and $320,024. Director.
Okay, we use tandem axle dump trucks for just about everything. We collect yard waste with them, we haul construction materials, we use them for snow fighting. So we have as part of our equipment replacement program, we have a routine or regularly scheduled replacement for those vehicles. In addition to the truck itself, the way that we purchase these vehicles, we purchase a chassis. The chassis is bare, so you basically have the engine and drivetrain, the wheels, fuel, and the cab, but nothing behind the cab. So it just comes like a stake, almost like the frame rails, and that's it. We purchased the dump body from a different manufacturer, and then the plow and wing come from a different manufacturer as well. So we've already got the trucks as part of the equipment replacement plan this year. We did indicate we were going to be replacing 2 of the dump trucks with new 2 new trucks, dump bodies, wings, plows. So this is for 2 of the dump bodies with the controls, 1 of the plows and 1 of the wings. And we're acquiring it off of the government services contract. So the money has been bonded for. We have competitively bid through Sourcewell with the GSA contract. All we're doing is seeking approval to expend the money and get the equipment out.
Motion to approve.
I just have one question. Steve, is there any idea of how much we save by doing this 3-way, with these parts? I mean, as opposed to buying a new vehicle completely?
You can't do it the other way.
You can't do it.
No.
Okay. I mean, okay, if you can't, that's fine. I'm just looking at,
You can get,
obviously, you're doing this for efficiency's sake.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And then you would be saving some money that way as well.
yes,
So,
yeah. Buying a complete truck,
yeah.
you're probably 18 months out. What we're currently doing is we know we're going to need 2 trucks in '26. So we're already reaching out to the manufacturer. So instead of going to Monroe Truck Equipment and saying, I need a dump truck, we're going to Freightliner, or we're going to White, the manufacturer of the truck, and we're getting a build slot with them. So we've got our name on a truck in 2026 already. They're only manufacturing a certain number of trucks in any model year, and if you don't have your name on a build slot 18 months in advance, you won't get a truck in that model year. So because we have our name on the truck, we get it almost factory direct, and then it's easier for us just to go out to the government services contract and pick the equipment that we need, as opposed to trying to buy a completed vehicle.
We've been doing this for some time.
We have, and it depends on the type of vehicle. A dump truck you can typically buy with a dump body on it, but chances are good you might be able to get the plow and the wing from Monroe or somebody, but you may wind up with mixed match parts, which we have anyway, not such a big deal. For items like our garbage trucks, the manufacturer of the dump body is a completely different entity. So we'll buy our trucks. We were buying auto cars or Peterbilt 320s, okay? That same chassis is used for a number of different applications, but the body, the compactor body with the arm, we were buying those out of Texas. So we had to buy the truck, then we'd ship the truck down to Texas and they would fabricate the body onto the truck to make it a garbage truck. So sometimes you can buy a complete one, sometimes you can't.
But, well, I like this setup. Steve, or Walter Campbell.
So I used to make the connection, so you ordered the truck through Monroe for the slot, or you're direct there?
Sometimes,
Oh, that's what I...
sometimes it's a little bit of both. However, we can get our name on the slot.
Yeah, okay. Just curious.
Well, direct, so your
Yeah.
motion? Your motion?
Motion's on the floor.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second? By Weary? Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? That passes
Any other
unanimously.
discussion?
And again,
I'm gonna throw a tidbit in there.
right now,
My wife's dad, which was the head of Schneider's in the truck department, used to deliver all those trucks from there. He said discussion
all right.
or comment.
Thank you for your
That's a
service.
comment. He's dead now.
All right. Number 3, consideration and possible action on request by Department of Public Works to approve amendment number 1 for the professional services agreement between the city and McMahon and Associates, Inc., for the design of Finger Road East Town sidewalk in the amount of $5,600. The amendment is for additional survey work and driveway design for Cape Financial. The new driveway will be designed off of Finger Road so that it is no longer in the functional area of the East Town and East Mason intersection. Director.
So this is a project we are doing over in the East Town Multiad to enhance pedestrian accommodations over there. As indicated in the item, there is a driveway for Cape Financial that comes out onto East Town Way. Not the best situation. It's problematic for grades, and it's also problematic for traffic flow, having the driveway crossing where pedestrians are. So staff has met with the folks at Cape Financial. They are in agreement to having the driveway relocated. So it's onto Finger Road and no longer in the functional area of the signal at East Town Way and East Mason Street. It is only a $5,600 add to the contract, but because the original contract was in excess of $25,000, any adds to that we need to get approved through the common council. Staff is in support of this and does recommend approval.
Committee?
It's East Town Mall, do you have anything to say? No?
Yes.
Across the way.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck.
Second.
By Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
Aye.
That
Please say that
passes unanimously.
It was Weary. Seconded by Weary, not Campbell. For some reason,
would-
I didn't even make a peek.
Okay.
I'm
You
getting
didn't
older.
even look
I said
at
he's
me.
getting credit for lots
You
of
didn't even
it.
look at me.
In front of us.
You are
You're gonna
busy.
have to get your buzzers that light up.
Yeah, what,
Where'd you do
joy
that?
Yeah,
buzzer.
maybe from,
I think
what's
you
his
Give
were
us a
name,
there
from the
a couple
Jeopardy
Wait a
guys.
second.
Whatever, the expert.
Yeah,
But-
Professor,
but-
Okay,
you good? You all
I'm
right?
good, I'm good. All right, here we go.
Groovy?
I think so. Let's see,
Six.
we're at number 4, okay.
Is it 4? Oh,
Hold
yeah,
on a
4.
second. Number 4, consideration with possible action on request by the Department of Public Works to award a sole source contract to GS Global Resources for the procurement of 2 hydraulic motors for the hydraulic rehabilitation of the Rainichke Memorial Bridge, not to exceed $35,000. Sole source documentation attached. Director.
Okay, so this is part of the ongoing phased replacement of the hydraulic system that operates the lift spans on the Rainichke Memorial Bridge. The existing hydraulic motors were manufactured by a company by the name of Proclaim. There are no shelf-ready comparable models, and significant lead time exists to fabricate new. So incorporation of the same equipment will maintain familiarity with the system for both operations and maintenance, and avoid costly redesign to accommodate an alternate manufacturer. We have done this before with some of the hydraulic motors. This is just simply another piece of the puzzle as we continue to go on. There is only one distributor for Proclaim motors, so that's what we have provided to you under the sole source, indicating why, and we are indicating on the sole source form that this item may be purchased again as we continue with the phased upgrades. So I think we may have done 2 of them already.
No.
One?
We haven't done any electric.
Oh, so this is the first of the
These are the motors.
hydraulic motors.
Not
Okay.
hydraulic.
So this is the beginning of the hydraulic. We've been working with the pumps.
Yeah.
The pumps drive the hydraulic fluid to the hydraulic motor, and then the motor actually operates the bridge. We're starting with the replacement of the hydraulic motors right now. Funding for this comes out of the money that was provided, the $1.2 million SMA grant that came from the Department of Transportation.
Okay, well, no worry.
As Johnny Cash once said, we're building it one piece at a time.
Yes,
But it
it's
is
like
gonna
a
cost us a
Cadillac.
dime.
Exactly.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay,
Second.
Larry, seconded by Eck. Any other discussion? I got it? I'm just looking at you. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I,
All opposed? For making me work for it. All right,
Getting close to
that is approved. Okay, number 6. Let's get to that. Consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a state municipal financial agreement, SMFA, for project ID 370-30-63, Signals and ITS standalone program for traffic signal upgrades along West Mason Street from Hinkle Street to Country Club Road. Director.
Okay, we've been working on safety improvements along this corridor for several years jointly with Wisconsin Department of Transportation and with Brown County. WISDOT came to us within the last year or two and indicated that they were going to be making some geometric changes to provide positive offset left turn accommodations at the intersections along this stretch. So what that does is it allows 2 left turning cars to be beyond each other, so you can physically see around, avoiding a hidden vehicle. behind the left turn car. In order to do that, that was an agreement that we brought forward within the last couple of months for a highway safety improvement program, an HSIP agreement with DOT. Companion to that is this SISP, the Standalone ITS and Safety Program, or Signal Program. By moving the lane configurations around, we have to change out the traffic signal hardware because the arms on the traffic signals need to get longer to get the signals over where they belong. So we're going to take that opportunity. There's about 1.125 million in federal funds. It's $1.25 million, and it's a 90-10 split between us and the Fed. So we can upgrade all that traffic signal hardware along that corridor to be state-of-the-art with the latest, and also lengthen out the signal arms to get them where they need to be. And again, it's companion to the HSIP project that we already approved. So staff does recommend completing this. The money for the 10% match will come out of our program next year.
So how many signals are we looking at here?
I believe it's
4, it says 4.
1, 2.
Not that it matters,
Yes.
but I
No,
know
5.
there's 5.
4. Hinkle, Isbell, Packerland, and Country Club.
Motion to
Anybody
approve?
like a map on this? It would be nice to have a map, just to see it. That's just, anyway, go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, there's about 5 to 6, so we can sneak in a few more.
I think we can.
All right, number 7, consideration and possible action on request by Department of Public Works to enter into a professional services agreement with Moss Associates LLC for negotiating real estate acquisition for the Country Club Road project in the estimated amount of $21,600. This service was performed by our right-of-way specialist who is retiring.
So this is one of 2 similar types of items that's on the agenda tonight. Our real estate specialist, our right-of-way specialist was tasked with right-of-way acquisition on projects and real estate matters, and with his impending retirement on April 2nd, we now have no one in-house that can acquire these right-of-way interests or real estate interests for us, so we're having to contract out. Moss Associates is a company that we have been using for years at the city. We're comfortable with their approach, understand their folks, have good working relationships with them, so we would like to have Moss expand their scope of services with us to continue with these services.
For the record?
Is that a temporary thing while you're looking for a replacement? Okay.
Okay.
Well, and yes, it is, but Jim and I have been talking about this. We're not so very sure that we're going to find somebody with Tom's capabilities out there. Tom has been with us for over 38 years, and he brings a rather unique skill set.
Sherman? Tom Sherman?
No, this is Tom Geezy.
Tom Giese.
Oh, okay. There's several Toms, but yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So we are actively going to be trying to recruit for that, but it might be an extended recruitment. We don't know that we're going to generate the leads that we're hoping for.
Okay.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck,
Second.
second by Weary. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? That passes unanimously. Number 8, consideration with possible action on a request by Department of Public Works to award 2024-2025 material testing contract to American Engineering Testing. The contract is awarded on an as-needed basis, and the fees are calculated using time and material rates. Director.
Usually every 2 years or so, we go out for contracts for field testing services. So this would be density tests on base aggregate gravel, concrete cylinder tests that need to be run to demonstrate quality assurance, quality control on construction materials that are implemented into both sewer and road projects. We don't have those services in-house. We need to utilize an outside testing laboratory, so we go out for requests for proposals. There's no way to accurately forecast the number of tests, so we can't do it on a cost basis. We talk to qualified firms, and we get a price list from them that we can utilize. And again, these types of, they're not big dollar in nature, So they're incidental to our construction costs, and this is also funded out of our construction funding when we have to have a test performed.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck,
Second?
second by Weary. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed? That passes. All right, it's about 6 o'clock.
5:59.
The bell tolls for
I haven't done one of these for a while. We're
Yeah,
just-
that's
asked
fine.
3
I'll
times.
just walk you through it.
So you'll get
And
stuff.
then we have to go back
Must be a
to,
road,
So, but I'm just, but as far as how to read the item card.
so we go back to 9 when we go back on, just so we can,
Number 9.
right?
That comes out.
you see
Okay, so the hour of 6 o'clock having arrived,
Okay.
the chairman called to order the public hearing
All
for
right. Okay, hear ye, hear ye.
Or resurface?
We will have a public hearing.
So resurface.
I'll read number 9, correct?
Unless they're business. That's probably what it is. That's,
Correct? Read number 9.
No,
that's why.
no, number 9 is not the public hearing. So we're going to skip ahead to item G.
Yeah, we're down here. Oh, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Attenzione,
Call to order.
Mr. Who's? Anyway,
We need
we
the
are here for a
gavel.
public hearing. We're going to be talking here about, is there anybody here to speak on the items listed? Asphalt resurfacing. Are we going to take these one road at a time?
Well, if you just want to identify the roads that are
I'll
in
do that.
resurfacing, the roads that are in
Okay,
asphalting.
all right, I'll do that.
I'll read the engineer's report, and after I read the engineer's report, then you can see public comment.
Okay. For asphalt resurfacing, we have a number of roads here. Baston Street from Ruth Street to Clement, Eastman Avenue from North Irwin Avenue to North Baird Street, North Baird Street from Eastman Avenue to Smith Street, Reaver Street from North Jackson Street to North Webster Avenue, Gray Court, Velp Avenue to the cul-de-sac, Lincoln Street from Mary Street to Emmett Street, Hudson Street from Western Avenue to Shawano Avenue, Ethel Avenue from Bond Street to Velp Avenue, and Berlin Road from Lime Kiln Road to 1,700 feet west of Lime Kiln Road. We'll stick with the resurfacing and hit the pavement later? or not at
No,
all?
the difference is asphalt pavement would be reconstruct streets as
Okay,
opposed
so-
to resurfacing.
Bring them all in,
Yep.
right? All right. And for asphalt pavement, we have South Oakland Avenue from Howard Street to 225 feet south of School Place, Finger Road from Superior Road to Challenger Drive, South Maple Avenue from 9th Street to the cul-de-sac north, Cass Street from South Madison Street to Monroe Avenue, East Mason Street from Jasper Street to Bader Street, North Maple Avenue from Walnut Street to Mather Street, and 4th Street from Broadway to South Maple Street. Are there any folks here to speak to any of this?
Yes.
All right. You want
Make a motion, open the
a
floor.
motion to open the floor? By
Second.
Campbell, seconded by Eck. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, all right. Step forward and state your name and address for the record.
Sure. Hi, Mars. Have a seat here.
Have a seat, or, yeah, you can sit if you'd like.
Hi, I'm Tony Hoos. I represent the ownership of Jenny Ann LLC, who owns the building at the corner of Main and Mason. And it's 1980 Main, also known as 1981 East Mason, the same building. We share a parking lot with Martin Hardware and one other smaller mall. We've had ownership of the building since 2015. There's approximately 35,000 cars a day at that intersection of Main and Mason. Tremendous amount of traffic. It's one of the highest heavily traveled intersections in the Green Bay metropolitan area. Now, I know the wheel tax covers at 100% of residences, but 50% of businesses. Now, from our numbers, less than 5% of that 35,000 cars will utilize any of these businesses that are affected. So, Obviously, when you've got that much traffic, and that's per day, 35,000 cars, you add that up over the course of a week, a month, and a year, that's a lot of travel on that pavement, and obviously that's affecting. So the cars, a lot of them are going to Walmart, East Town Mall, wherever they're headed. But like I said, it's less than 5% will utilize these businesses, the people that are represented here. So my question is, I don't know what the protocol or how the wheel tax is structured, what body actually, if that's a state, a county, or how that is put together. But I'm wondering, is there any possibility that that 50% could be revised to more closely represent, I'm not saying to mirror the residential 100%, but certainly we're paying for a lot of car usage that aren't going into our businesses. So that's a question I wanted to pose to the board.
Well, Director, I mean, we could all chime in as far as all the rec.
One of the things we need to know is the property owner in support of the project or not? We've done,
Okay.
Alder Weary, who's been a member of this committee for years, when we've had these public hearings, it's almost universal that affected property owners do not want to pay. We understand that. What we're hoping to gather from this public hearing is, are you in support of the project or not?
Can I?
Yes.
I'm not here to say we don't want to pay. That's not at all what I said. What I did say is that 50% is much more than what we should be paying.
Assessment rates are calculated based on a standard width street. Now, that street could be Cherry Street out here, or it could be East Mason Street. The standard width and dimensions of the street is what determines the assessment rate. So what you're paying is no different than the rate that would be paid for a commercial on any 37-foot wide street.
The difference is, you're
You're
talking,
not
let me
paying
finish
any
my
more
sentence.
than you
Let me
would be
finish
paying
my
if you were
sentence
on a
instead of
street that
talking
had-
over me. What I was going to say is the difference is, you're taking an intersection that has a vast amount of traffic versus talking about Cherry Street. We're talking 35,000 cars a day. That is a unique situation, so that's why we are all here to voice our opinion.
What I'm saying is the road is designed to accommodate that, and the increased cost to accommodate the additional traffic is being absorbed by the city. You're not being asked to contribute towards that increased traffic. You would be assessed with a commercial business the exact same as if you were on a street that only had 400 vehicles a day. Financially, there's no difference in impact to the property owner. The additional cost for that level of service of roadway is absorbed 100% by the city.
How
not
did you
the
arrive
resident.
at, then how did you arrive at 100% for a residence? How did the wheel
Because-
tax end up being 100%?
Do you understand how the wheel tax or local vehicle registration fee, do you
Yes, I do.
understand what that is assessed to?
Yes, I do.
You do know that it's for vehicles that are under 8,000 pounds in gross vehicle weight, which typically are passenger vehicles.
Okay.
So the heavier vehicles, like delivery vehicles that come to commercial businesses, do not pay into that fund. As a result, the Common Council adopted a 50% reduction for those businesses that draw heavy traffic and do more significant damage to the pavement, while still realizing that there are passenger vehicles that frequent those businesses that are, not just frequent the businesses, that are owned by the business, that are realizing a benefit due to the local vehicle registration fee. So there is an equitable distribution of that money that is realized by other than residential properties.
What I am here to ask is that 50%, and I'm not sure how that was arrived at. Was there some formulation as to how you arrived at that 50%?
Yeah, we took a look and said, those businesses still have passenger cars that are part of the business, but they have heavy trucks. Sat down, worked through it with the committee took a recommendation, brought it to council, and 50% was the number that we came with.
Okay, we're here to ask that be looked at again, because I think that 50% is,
That's a separate
Extreme.
communication, which is not part of this public hearing.
okay, well, we're here to voice our opinion, so that's,
Understood.
the invitation was
Right.
given out, so that's what we're here for, so.
But for future, you could bring in the communication to the aldermen in that area. I would think that'd be one way to go. I'm thinking, who would in that area be Chester and,
It might be
Probably two.
Morgan, or Hutchison.
Hutchison.
Okay.
It would either be Hutchison or.
and they
or
would
Morgan.
work with you for future, you know, I mean, we'd have to go to committee and study that and talk about it. You know, the wheel tax, you know, for years, you know, people, you know, I had to pay for my road years and years ago, you know, over a 3-year period. But the wheel tax was set up to relieve the assessment that people were getting. And there were some homes that had $55,000 assessments, you know, because they had a long right of way. And we just felt that wasn't fair at the time. And there may be some other strategies that we're looking at in the future instead of the wheel tax, but that we're not at that point yet. But we're looking at some other alternatives. So if there are some things, Mr. Hughes, that you feel are different or unfair, that I would suggest, you know, after this hearing, get a hold of the alder in that area, voice your opinion, and we can get a communication into the committee, and we can visit that.
Okay, all right, thank you,
You bet.
appreciate it.
You bet. All right, Alder Eck?
When was the last time that this particular piece of road was replaced?
69.
Do we go with the last time we did?
Yeah, hold on.
Actually, we do.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, how often does it have to be done? Yeah. Well, because, you know, if it's every 5 years, well, then I understand. But if it's every 30 years, well, then
And I know they have water drainage problems.
So is that,
Right,
Not during that year.
yeah.
It has definitely been a while, because that segment is concrete with an asphalt overlay on it, so if I had to guess, that would probably be mid-80s.
okay. So it's not like every 5 years or anything like that?
No.
Thank you.
And it was set by you guys.
You gotta wait till you get up.
did you want to speak to the same issue? Or, I mean, we could.
Sure, I mean, I can. I don't know that it's gonna be an incident any different. I'm Katie from Martin Hardware. Paperwork.
The same.
Yep, right next to his building.
What's your name and address
Katie
again?
from Martin Hardware,
And what's your address?
1949 East Mason Street.
What we need to do the last name?
Katie
Martin,
Martin. Well,
Martin Hardware. Woohoo!
I should have assumed.
You look familiar.
That's okay, that's okay.
You
that's
look
okay.
familiar.
It's okay.
All right,
I mean,
well-
it sounds like even what I say is not gonna make a difference. I think part of what Tony was trying to say that maybe isn't getting across, which apparently doesn't make any difference at this meeting, is that we understand, we, in retrospect, yes, we would, everybody wants to have a nice, pretty street. So who's gonna say no to that? Not really sure who's gonna say no to that. The problem that we're coming across is not that we don't wanna pay our, pay some expense. We understand that there's some expense to being in a city. There's expense to that. There's also expense to, yes, I understand my business would cause more traffic on a street than somebody's residential home. I get that, and I would expect to pay that too. What we're kind of saying is that this is, yes, the street is wider, we get that too, but then some of the other streets. But this street is also Main Street and Mason Street. These are the two main thoroughfares through the city. This goes from the west side to the highway, to two highways. It's the main axis for everything, so even other streets that would be the same size are still not getting the same amount of traffic this street is. This street is still getting way more traffic, and we're expecting to front the cost of that. That's our point, is that there's just way more traffic than even a regular street, two street this size would be. It's been a long time since this, because according to the paperwork that I was sent from this, that in the packets that we got, I believe it said 69 in there, or in the 60s, that it was actually fully redone, which is a long time for a very busy main street to be done. Again, I do think there's a huge part of it that needs to be done. That corner is terrible. It's potholes. Right across from me, the water main's been breaking a lot. And so they've pulled that hole up like, I don't know, like twice a year. They cut a hole in the same spot twice a year. So I'm not saying that it doesn't need to be done. I think what Tony was trying to get across was that there might be a special circumstance for this section of street, these two streets, Main and Mason, because of their extensive use as main thoroughfares from the east side to the west side.
Alder Wery, did you want to?
Thanks, Mr. I just had one question. That you had mentioned maybe the 60s. That had
Yeah.
happened. Do you recall, in your memory, having to pay an assessment since then?
We moved into this building in 2005.
Oh, okay.
So as far as since 2005, I've never had to pay a street assessment. Now, we were further up on Main Street, but I wasn't the owner, and I would have to ask my father and uncle who are,
That was a while ago.
yeah.
You weren't even born yet.
Yeah. That's, yeah.
Mason.
Mason, yes, we were further up on Mason, and so I don't remember
Well-
ever having to pay an assessment. They're probably, I'm sure they did at some point, had to pay something, but,
And I think what Alder Wery's saying too is that, like you said, the wheel tax, takes that, the assessment.
yeah, the wheel
away.
tax covers part of it, it does, and we're not saying it doesn't. We do, we understand that the residents don't really cause most of the traffic we do, or businesses do. But there's also, this isn't just a business street, this is a pass-through street. This
Yeah.
is almost like a highway street, this is a pass-through.
I think if my point was, if I just wanted to
Yeah,
wrap it
go
up,
ahead.
is either, if it was redone in the 80s, that you're talking about 40 years old,
Yeah.
or the 60s, 60 years old, so.
One of the streets, and I can't, because I left my paperwork in the car, I
My point was,
apologize.
that's a long time
But that's,
to not have
it's,
an assessment for a big street.
for a
It would be
street
different if
this-
we're every 5,
this
10,
busy.
15
I mean,
years.
yeah,
It's
this
busy.
busy.
No, it's
One of
busy.
the reasons we moved from 1221 to where we are now is to get closer to that busy
Yeah, but
intersection.
you can see
like-
my point, where if it
Yeah.
hasn't been redone since like 85, it's been 40 years without an assessment on a busy street, which you'd think would wear down quicker, and it would have been every 20 years. So it's been 40 years or 60 years without an assessment. I don't.
Do we have a docket as far as when that might be worked on, or? is
But I
that-
see where you're coming from, it was a lot, I get that. It's
Yeah.
just, but it's been a long
But
time
it-
since
it-
there's been,
No, I'm not, like I said, and I'm not saying there shouldn't be probably a good major repair on this street, but I'm just wondering
Yeah.
why we're expected to front so much.
and I imagine we're doing the reconstruct because there's been some flooding issues there, so it'd be nice to go under and, we're not doing
Well,
any of the
there's-
reconstructs?
The reconstruct is being performed because of the break history on the water main and the damage that would result in the pavement to fix the water main. Plus, we're gonna do some upsizing with some of the storm. And with the asphalt overlay on top of the concrete, we can't just peel that asphalt off and redo it to restore ride quality. By this point, the damage has been done to the top of the concrete that's underneath the asphalt as well. It needs to be reconstructed.
It's a rough patch, I mean,
Correct.
the times I go to.
No,
the
it's a rough patch, and there's a lot of,
It's- It's
it's,
worse than Shawano in front of West Nine.
That precedes.
Yeah.
No, and
We
I'm
put
not
it terms you know.
And I believe that it's bad. I know my water main's just broken twice, just going to my building. So I know that it's old in there, but I'm also sitting here going, this maybe should have been done a while ago, and then again, why, we're kind of expected to front part of it, and that's okay, but to
The
the
good news is,
extent.
if it had been done before the wheel tax, you would have paid twice as much.
Correct.
Well, then
So-
also, you say it's, you're saying it's not part of the wheel tax, but it's also, the letter that I received said we're choosing to enforce this time, which means that you don't always choose to enforce it, so That's what I mean, that's what I got from the letter that it stated, that we're choosing to enforce this time.
I didn't.
And the statute says that it's in creating we get to charge this to you because it's creating a beneficial, something beneficial. Well, you're not widening the street, you're just fixing the lines. You're fixing the concrete. That's just basic repair. That's not an enhancement to anything. That's basic repair. That's where, again, we're kind of like, this is regular maintenance. It's not an enhancement to our business. It's not making it prettier. It's not increasing the sewer lines to a massive size that can actually handle the water and the flood. It's actually just maintenance. Something that we would normally do on everybody's building and property. So-
Steve, didn't you just say that there's gonna be improvements to the lines as she,
If I would have
Larger.
read the engineer's report before we had opened the floor.
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't
What
think
we
we
would
did
have
that.
said, what we would have indicated was that only the pavement's being assessed. No assessments are being levied for any of these sewer improvements or water main that are being done out there. Improve or benefit, as defined under state statute, is completely different than what the resident or the property owners are talking about. A reconstructed street is a brand-new street. That is a benefit. This is not maintenance. Maintenance is crack sealing and pothole filling. This is substantially more than maintenance. This is a full reconstruct.
So what,
Other story.
go ahead, Alder.
And I thought, I was, as far as you not reading that, because I thought, did I miss that?
No, we didn't
So
miss
we
it.
skipped over that. He was supposed to do that before we opened.
That's okay, we'll catch up.
We could catch up, okay. So,
Last constructed, 1969, resurfaced, portion of it was resurfaced in 1981, and there were some spot repairs that were done in 99 and 2008, but generally speaking, there has been no substantial work out there since 1981.
So nothing would have been assessed after 81, like spot repairs, but those have been
Correct.
covered by the city?
And the letter did just say asphalt. It did say asphalt. It did mention that these things were probably going to be looked at when they pull the asphalt, but it did just say asphalt. I do admit to that. But I was just using that as an example of something that could be
so,
an enhancement or beneficial.
so I don't know if this is a side note on a total reconstruct, what onus goes to the owner?
Again,
Yes,
what we
this-
have is a typical width street. So the actual dollar value, if they would have had 400 feet of frontage on Cherry Street, their assessment would be identical
Okay.
to what they're paying, what the assessment is out here. The total project cost is substantially higher because of the nature of the traffic and the width of the street. So they are paying a proportionately smaller share than somebody on a less busy
It
street.
goes to the city.
Right.
Right.
The additional
All
costs
of
that
us.
are necessary
Well,
to
and
accommodate
I
that higher
understand-
level of traffic
Hold on.
are absorbed by the city. We charge the same rate on a concrete street in a commercial district across the entirety of the city.
I understand what he's saying, but I'm also saying, like, okay, you go past Highway 43, to the other side of Mason, on the other side out there, past the highway to the industrial area. That street does not have as much traffic as it does between the highway and the west side. I mean, because of the traffic, and it's the same size. It's the same size. Those streets are wider in the industrial area. They're the same size. They're 2 lanes. They're wider, but they're not getting not getting quite as much traffic as this section that we live in, that we happen to, be lucky enough to purchase a piece of property on. We're getting, because it's going to these 2 major city
They're just saying
directional
it wears down
locations.
quicker.
It is adding actually more traffic than an actual, some other 2-lane roads the same size. I get where he's saying, well, yes, and, he did it per square footage of the lane of the street. I get that. And normally I would say, yeah, I agree, he's correct. But not, there's 2-lane streets, and then there's the main 2-lane street of the city that actually gets a little bit more traffic than a lot of other 2-lane streets.
Can I ask, like on a reconstruct, would the right-of-way be wide at all, or is it pretty tight?
No, it's pretty tight out there.
It's pretty tight right in that area. You'd have to, you know what I'm saying? There's businesses all along there, and you'd have to cut parking lots and whatever. It's tight. Oh, they're worried? Did you have something else?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, what's our typical lifespan? Because it sounds like it's been 55 years since the reconstruct, that's a long time. 43 years since we asphalted it. That's-
On a concrete street, 55 is not outside the realm.
Okay. So, you know, I see where you're coming from, it just hasn't been assessed in over 40 years. So, and the fact that we're assessing it at just a regular rate, you know, rather than saying, hey, the cost of this project's 10 million, I'm just gonna pick a number, $10 million, and you gotta gobble up a certain percentage of it. Whereas, let's say
But
this
we-
little side street's $1 million.
And that might be an interesting point. Assessments are not based on a percentage of the construction cost,
That's a different way of looking at it. yeah.
okay? You pay a set rate based on what, if it's concrete pavement or asphalt pavement, okay? The rate doesn't change if you're on this part of Mason, if you're on West Mason, or if you're on the I-43 industrial park.
So you're not penalized for being on a heavier.
Correct.
And I don't think it
You get
wore out
charged-
quicker because it's been 43 or 55
This-
years. So I,
The city picks up a much larger cost the busier the street is. You don't get penalized by living, that's why the assessment rates are structured the way they are, is to not penalize somebody for living on a busy
I
street.
could see if it wore out in 10 years or 20 years,
The city
or
doesn't
30
pick it
years,
up
but it's
because we
been
do it.
Did
43.
you want to speak?
I'm just trying to
You'd have to come up.
process, you know, it's been a long time.
I don't got a lot to say. My name's Ben.
Name and address.
Ben, 1930, East Mason, Papa John's.
Last name?
Ben?
Franklin,
Ben Franklin?
true story.
Ben Franklin, oh, wow.
I love that guy. I got a book on him.
True story. Anyway,
Me too.
Harold Rose is the main owner of the building. He lives in North Dakota. He asked me to come represent him since he couldn't be here.
Okay.
And I'm the minority owner, so. We just bought the building, literally like 6 months ago. And so this was not an expenditure that we were expecting at all. So that kind of came kind of a shock to us. And we have 19 stores that we own in various different cities throughout Wisconsin, as well as North Dakota, Utah, and Idaho. And in fact, we're building an 11th one here in Wisconsin, actually, Manitowoc right now. Out of all the stores, we've never had something like this happen before. So I'm just here trying to really understand what the city of Green Bay is doing. I'm learning about the wheel tax that you guys are talking a lot about. I'm really just here to understand why we're getting hit with this. Again, we weren't expecting it. So if you guys could just explain to me, really,
So
why Green Bay is
so
structured
the
that
number,
way.
I was going to ask, well, can we ask you what the number is? The number that you are hit with?
It's just under $10,000
All right.
for the total cost.
Alder, did you? Oh.
No.
So just as an, I guess, related, if you had gone back before the wheel tax, that would have been double. So it would have been 20. You would have just paid twice your portion of it, and that was
It's
it.
just the timing, it's timing.
So we implemented the wheel tax, took away assessments for residents, because when we'd want to do a residential street, a lot of people would show up and say, don't do our street, and it would get worse and worse and worse and worse, so we'd never do it until it fell apart. So we put the wheel tax in, and now we are doing the residential street because it pays for their assessments. And we decided, based on the money we had, that we'd pay half of the commercial cost, to redo the street. That's where the number came out to. Because we did think, based on some of the traffic that was coming to commercials, the heavier trucks that we couldn't even tax, that we couldn't put a fee on, it wasn't a tax, that was still fair. So I kind of wrapped that up into a few sentences, but, yeah, so before, imagine if we're 10 years ago, we redid the street, you'd be paying $20,000. It just would have been all years, that's just what it would have been, but because of the wheel tax,
We're all paying it. I live
Me
5
too.
miles away.
Anybody who's got a
and
car
we pay for that.
helps
All
pay
the
for that
citizens that have
reconstruct.
vehicles,
Yeah.
as part of they got a $20 fee per car.
Yeah.
We have 3 cars, so $60 a year, and that goes toward everybody else.
So we have a kitty, 2 million.
What is it, 2 million roughly?
And that goes towards redoing streets.
Kitty, we're just looking at what roughly we collect a year, roughly,
2
in
million.
wheel tax,
2 million.
about 2 million. So that's all utilized for everybody else.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's, I think having the road fixed, that's one thing, I mean, that's another issue. But we're just looking at if you're in agreement or disagreement with the project.
Yeah, well, definitely an agreement. We love the location. That's part of why we bought the property. He's already given me the stats, about approximately 35. We did a study and actually came up a little bit higher than that. We got the 37 to 40,000 a day, but we'll go with the 35 to be modest.
Well, and it's pretty hard to figure out how many folks actually stop at your places. Like Tony, you get what, maybe 5,000 a day in your business?
Well, yeah. at
Yeah,
one
roughly.
spot. No, I said less than 5%, but.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, we do. I mean, you talked about the big semi trucks that come in to deliver loads and stuff. And we get 2 truck deliveries every single week, to keep up with the demand and things like that of the community. We're really proud to be part of the community, we're just trying to understand from our vantage point where we just bought that building and it's like, crap, because we kind of stretched ourselves on that, so.
The person sold it just in time is what they're thinking.
Yeah.
That's what payment on something like that? Is it over a period of time, or what is
Well,
expected?
Assessments after levied can be paid in whole or in part within 30 days. Any unpaid assessment any portion of the assessment levied that remains unpaid after 30 days after receipt of invoice goes into an automatic payment plan, which is 5 equal annual installments which are added to your tax bill. Businesses have the ability under ordinance to request a special consideration where that could be spread out over 10 years.
Is that done on a one-on-one basis then?
Everybody has
Per
to
owner.
apply, right?
Anyone who would wish consideration for a 10-year plan would have to individually come in and ask for that.
Okay. Does that,
Yeah, like I say, I don't have a arguing point on one way or the other. I'm really just trying to understand it all, so.
okay.
These guys, they got better arguing points.
Okay. Well,
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
If I could just.
I'll be brief.
Name and address?
Yep, Ted Zeman Commercial Properties, 1910 East Mason Street. It's the Family Dollar Mi Favorita grocery store. Just here to do due diligence for our business and our tenants, and just to get a little information as well. First question I have is, the letter that we received did sound like this was the committee to come talk to about what we're talking about, but I'm hearing that's different. So is
No, this
that?
right one.
Okay, but you said talk to aldermen, do that.
Well, I'm just saying.
Just trying to figure out in the future what the best way to do it.
But, go ahead. Alderman.
This committee gets this decision.
It's
We're doing the project, we're not doing the project. That's
it.
right.
Sure.
We're doing it.
The wording is just a little confusing then on the letter we received, so that's kind of what I'm saying there. You're saying in the future we should come in beforehand, talk to our aldermen, that kind of thing too.
Tony? Ladies and gentlemen?
We would need to change how we allocate
I'm getting older, I
real
can't
tax
hear.
dollars. So that would be a committee, council, bigger discussion
Yeah,
to set up for the next year, because this year's already set.
Okay.
Am I right? It's a bigger discussion, a more fundamental.
Right.
so the next property that this happens on. Well, the other reason is that it did sound like in the verbiage that there was a possibility
That I don't.
and from a brief you said, went to committee. So I guess my question really is, what can we do at this point to send it back to a committee if we can request it to see if some of our concerns can be taken into consideration? I'm for the project, A. B, I'm okay paying for a portion of 2, we're all part of it. It did sound like there was some kind of judgment used in this case, so how can we potentially?
When I mentioned the alder, that'd be one route to go. You talk with the alder in that district, alder act.
And that's about the
After the fact.
possibility of changing
After
the
the fact.
50%.
After the
But
fact.
right now, we're here
Yes.
to say, does it need to be done? And,
Yes or
sounds
no?
like everybody thinks it needs to be done. So changing the 50% is not going to happen tonight.
Correct.
So that's basically.
But is it a
the gist.
possibility before the project starts?
No.
Okay. It's already been set in stone.
The council, or the committee will be making a recommendation that will go forward to the common council on Tuesday next week, and what the council will take action on either for or against is order the improvements constructed and the levies, or assessments levied.
Or not, and then it won't get improved.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
to approve or not, to have that done. If the vote is not, then the project is out of the program and it won't be reconstructed.
Okay. If we want to challenge the 50%, can we do that?
Well, you could come to council on Tuesday.
Okay.
No,
That won't
That's
be
not
a
gonna
help
happen.
discussion on Tuesday. That
All
would
right.
be a separate communication to revisit
All
the
right.
conditions of the local vehicle registration fee, and it would involve an ordinance change. That's
Right,
not going
thank
to
you.
happen until you get a new council seated. You're probably looking best case June.
So you're saying we need to look at the whole policy as a whole. We can't look at this
Not right now.
individual road.
Item.
Okay.
Not right now.
I think that's it then. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Good question, so.
It was.
Mr. Chairman, is there, sorry,
But go ahead. Yes.
is there any ambiguity, Director, in the letter itself? I don't know what the letter looks like, or is it just how it's, the
We don't,
ones with?
It'll be good, I
That's
promise.
AI.
AI's taking over.
We don't need you anymore, Mr. Chairman.
Gotta go.
AI runs the meeting.
we don't believe that there is, that the same letter has been used for public hearings since,
Maybe-
for as long as I've been here. It might
Okay.
just be a
Maybe
misinterpretation.
revisit it, or you could express,
Okay.
is there someone?
We do,
But that's where the alderman comes in, is to break it down and find out the questions you guys are asking in the process. And then
Somebody else.
talk to us about it.
Is there somebody online?
Before
Maybe that's-
this all happens.
Is there a Zoom call?
Yeah.
Okay.
yes,
Well,
we have somebody, a Darren S., that is requesting to speak as well.
Okay. Darren, your name and address, and go ahead.
Yes,
Name and
good
address.
evening.
Yes.
I'm with the property located at 1980 East Main Street.
Okay, can you give me your name and address, please, for the record?
Yep, name is Darren Simler, and our property ownership is at 1988 East Mason Street.
Okay.
so it's all.
Go ahead.
I am virtual here, but I am looking at the letter, and I think the confusion is, it states this way: all objections will be considered at said hearing, and thereafter the amount of the assessments will be finally determined. And then if you would participate in the public hearing, you can come. And so it's noted as a preliminary assessment, and then in that verbiage of that sentence, it's led to believe that we could voice objections about the assessment, and then later the assessment will be finally determined based on the conversations that are had here. That's how I interpreted it, and I think that's why the other, business owners are here to voice concern about it.
Okay, thank you for that. Committee, do you have anything on that? Otherwise, Alder Weary, do you want to just mention something on that?
No, I'm just gonna read it quickly.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, it says any objections can be brought forward here. We're looking at the project either yes or no. That's it. So if they bring up other objections. Oh,
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, and I think that's what when communicating, it sounds as if by the verbiage of this sentence, it says thereafter the amount of the assessment will be finally determined. And I think we're saying we won't talk about the amount of the assessment, so that's brought into consideration before final determination. That's at least how I interpret the letter, and what I'm hearing is determination actually is final. It's not the way that the letter states it. Is that correct?
well,
Let's ask them.
I mean, we're, Alder, or a director, I mean, it sounds to me like whether you're living on Cherry Street or over on this area, if you have a business, that you will be assessed accordingly. It'll be the same.
The final assessment.
At the beginning of the year, we adopt assessment rates. Those rates are set for the year. When we file the preliminary assessment, that is, or the preliminary resolution, the preliminary resolution declares an intent to levy assessments and the expected number. That does not become final until the final resolution is adopted by Common Council, which happens after this public hearing. The number on there generally doesn't change because that's an assessment rate per front foot that has been adopted by the Common Council at the beginning of the year. Objections can be heard. Doesn't mean that's going to change that number. but we can't make that final assessment number until the final resolution is adopted. That's statutory. So we have to declare a preliminary resolution, which declares an intent to levy assessments and the expected number. Then a certain time period has to go by. We have to hold the public hearing. Then there's a time requirement following the public hearing whereby the final resolution is adopted, and that is what finalizes the number. It's tentative until that under state statute, but the number is not going to change.
Okay.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it, I understand it, I've been doing it a long time.
Yes,
And
you
you
have.
get it, you know, because, but that took 2 minutes to explain, right?
Right.
So, you know, if you just read the sentence, you can see where, oh heck, you know, all objections will be considered at said hearing, and thereafter the amount of the assessments will be finally determined. Oh heck, I'm gonna go show up, and then they might tinker with it, right? I can see that. So I don't know if there's a way we can put your
We can
2-minute
look at it.
explanation into there. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I can totally see that, but I understand what it means is you're gonna be assessed, we just don't know quite the sense yet. It might be 50, it might be, you know.
Yeah, we're not keeping it.
Unless you want me to.
Kind of see where a layman might look at it and
Thank
say, oh, I can go and, doesn't mean yes, no project, it means you can tinker and adjust rates. I do get
Understood.
that, yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
ask a
some-
quick question? The gentleman right here, what's your first name?
Steve,
Steve, did you say so at the beginning of each year, the dollar amount per foot is determined and
Correct.
that's moving forward for that 12-month period?
correct.
So each, okay, all right.
Anything
I
else?
just wanted to
All the
say,
worry,
so it-
otherwise all the rest.
Oh.
Are you done? Okay, all the rest.
Wait. Just a little side note that just, the amount is this, but it could change based on current rates or whatever. You know, something to that, like a, whatever. I know you guys can figure it out.
I understand what you're looking for. I'm willing to take a look at the letter to see if some
Yeah.
tweak could be made, but the rate is what the rate is.
Right
There's
now,
no
we can't.
tweaking, there's no tinkering, and even the distance isn't going to change. When we set that rate and we give that number at the preliminary resolution stage, that's it. We can't make that number final until the final resolution.
Yeah, something
Okay.
like that, just to make it clear.
Okay, and that-
So you're either for it or against it. That's why you came in, you folks.
So, you have to
So-
see.
So I have a question about that, sir.
Yes.
So I'm assuming engineers told you the extent of the work that needs done, right?
Mhm.
So we've had studies done and all that. So why are we as common people or business owners saying if the work needs or does not need to be done? If engineers are already saying it needs to be done? Like, why is that a vote?
You got call direct, you want?
Because basically, there is that possibility that this will be put on the back burner. It won't be done. There's some people that come and they say, no, we don't want it done. And I will tell you as an alder, and I'm going to guess everybody else is going to say this, when we're out talking to our constituents, people are ticked off about the roads. And I've had to explain to them, we're very far behind because before the wheel tax came in, we would go through the public hearing, not that I was on council, but they would go through it for everything that had to be done. And so people, if they didn't want to pay for their road to be done, residential, they would come. And if they had enough people that said, no, we don't want it done, and this committee said, okay, it's not going to be done, it got put on the bottom of the list. And maybe it's coming up, it'll come up in, 40 years. And so it's because they didn't want to pay for it. But now that the wheel tax has been passed, everybody wants their road done. I'm just being honest here. This is exactly what I hear when I'm talking to people. And I explain, we're very far behind because before the wheel tax came in, nobody wanted their road done because they didn't want to have to pay for it. So now we're trying to catch up. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Thank you, Alden.
Okay.
That was good, very good.
See,
Thank you.
Mark, can I ask one more? Steve, I just wanted to ask you, if that resolution gets passed, then is there a chance when January of 2025 rolls around, that I'm assuming that cost per foot is not going to go down, it likely would go up? Is there a possibility that the number that we were sent would increase?
No.
No?
Well, It depends on what you mean by that. That's kind of open-ended. What I mean is, I've been with the city for over 16 years. I have never seen an assessment rate go down. There are some years from year to year it remains constant, but I've never seen one decrease because it does reflect the cost of construction materials.
Right, right.
If the resolution is passed, the assessment rate will be frozen at the rate it is today.
Okay.
It will not increase regardless of what happens next year. If the council decides not to proceed with this project and it is brought back for reconstruction at a future year, it will come back at the assessment rate in effect in that future year.
Thank you.
Okay,
I got one final question. I'm sorry.
that's it?
If our businesses were not there, and you take away the 5% of cars that are coming to our businesses, would the city be fixing the road, because engineers are telling them to, and how would that get paid for?
Whoever owns the property.
Whoever owns the property.
Yeah, that means even if it's a vacant property, you'd,
Yeah, by way of comparison, the former car lot is being assessed, even though that building is, well, I know that there's a business in it now,
Yeah.
like a consignment shop or something along that line, but they're paying the same assessments.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
okay, anybody else?
Message up there, can't tell what it
Is
says.
there anybody else to speak to this matter? Anybody else to speak to this matter? Anybody else to speak to this matter? I would say this is closed then. Correct?
Motion to close the floor?
Close the floor.
Close
And
the floor. Second.
this hearing, okay, who made that? Deck? You were first?
I did the motion, he
Yeah,
second.
And then
Yep.
second for Campbell, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Yeah, so,
Thanks for all your testimony.
Set the.
motion to close the floor. That's what it is.
So I think what we'll do is we'll read in the engineer's report, just so that's part of the record.
Okay,
Yep.
is that number 9?
If I could, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
So we'll discuss it and vote on it, and
Yeah,
then this
our-
goes to
if
council
we-
next week, so.
What we say isn't really gonna change anything, because it's not really what this hearing was told to us that it was gonna be about, so. But that's okay.
It was really to determine whether you thought it needed to be done, or, give your input on whether you.
At some point, it
does need-
needs to be done. Does it have to be done this year? I don't know. It's been
Then it
pushed
goes
off
to
a
the
handful
back
of
of
years
the
already,
list, and
so.
that could be a long time from now.
Yeah.
It literally gets behind side streets and every street, it gets behind all of them. I've been there several times in my business career, including Highway 41, 4 years. 4 years I struggled through that. It comes with the value of the property, if I might add. Your business brings all the business to those people. My business down Main Street with your new business on that corner brings business all the way down. We all use the streets. Your business, everybody, you all benefit from each other.
Well, no, and I'm not saying that. I agree. We all benefit from each other.
But that's in your property values, and that's
It's, we also all paid a big.
on
fee for it.
41.
We all paid.
On
a nice
41, they
price.
took the exits completely
All right,
away. Guess what? I had to move.
Closed session.
All
We
right,
all paid a big price for our property too. and
we
I
gotta go.
think,
$1 million mine.
My
yeah.
apologies for, we were already up here, I shouldn't have
that's
roped you
fine.
back in,
But
thanks.
thanks, I mean, I understand it too.
thought they were-
you know.
I mean, I understand why it has to be
Hey, Joe,
paid.
so
I
you
also
ever read-
think there is some consideration just
All right.
because of its street. That's all. But we already know that.
Okay, Tony, say hi to Sarah and Jen.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, y'all.
All right, go ahead, Director. You said you're gonna read it in?
Public hearing for March 13th of 2024 in accordance with state statute 66.0703. This public hearing is being held to levy assessments for the proposed pavement improvements, which are included in the 2024 capital improvement program. All of the projects being considered tonight will be included in contracts administered by the City of Green Bay Department of Public Works Engineering Division. All of the proposed assessments are being levied in accordance with the city's assessment ordinance. During construction, the contractor is required to provide access to businesses at all times and residences as much as practical. When a residential driveway is inaccessible, property owners and tenants can receive permission from the city police department to park on adjoining streets. Problems during construction should be brought to the attention of the Department of Public Works Engineering Division by calling 920-448-3100. Asphalt pavement, South Oakland Avenue from Howard Street to 225 feet south of School Place is classified as a local road in a residential zoned area with a single commercial property. The existing asphalt is an urban road section in poor condition and is in need of reconstruction. South Oakland Avenue will be reconstructed with an asphalt pavement with curb and gutter over a gravel base with a typical clear width of 30 feet. The 2024 assessment rate for asphalt pavement construction is $56.90 per front foot for commercially zoned or used properties. The estimated cost of pavement construction is $740,000. Sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main rehabilitation and construction will be performed prior to pavement reconstruction. The estimated cost of sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main are $480,000, $1,740,000, and $220,000 respectively. No assessments will be levied for the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, or water main improvements. Finger Road from Superior Road to Challenger Drive is classified as a local road in a residentially zoned area with a few commercial properties. The existing asphalt is in a rural section, in poor condition, and is in need of reconstruction. Finger Road will be reconstructed with an asphalt pavement with curb and gutter over a gravel base and a typical clear width of 27 feet. 2024 assessment rate for asphalt pavement reconstruction is $78.75 per front foot for commercially zoned or used properties. The estimated cost of pavement construction is $490,000. Sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main rehabilitation and reconstruction will be performed prior to pavement reconstruction. Estimated cost of the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main are $270,000, $70,000, and $300,000 respectively. No assessments will be levied for the storm sewer, sanitary sewer, or water main improvements. South Maple Street from 9th Street to the north termini is classified as a local road in a residential zoned area with a few commercial properties. Existing asphalt is in an urban road section in poor condition and is in need of reconstruction. South Maple Avenue will be reconstructed with an asphalt pavement with curb and gutter over a gravel base and a typical clear width of 36 feet. 2024 assessment rate for asphalt pavement reconstruction is $56.90 per front foot in a commercially zoned use for commercial zone and used properties. Estimated cost of pavement pavement reconstruction is $416,000. Sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main rehabilitation and construction will be performed prior to the pavement construction. Estimated cost of sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main are $96,000, $315,000, and $110,000 respectively. No assessments will be levied for the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main improvements. Cass Street from South Madison Street to South Monroe Avenue is classified as a local road in a residentially zoned area. The existing asphalt is an urban road section in poor condition and is in need of reconstruction. Cass Street will be reconstructed with an asphalt pavement with curb and gutter over gravel base and a typical clear width of 30 feet. 2024 assessment rate for asphalt pavement reconstruction is $56.90 per front foot for commercially zoned or used property. Estimated cost of pavement construction is $210,000. Sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main rehabilitation and construction will be performed prior to pavement reconstruction. The estimated cost of the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main is $110,000, $150,000, and $80,000 respectively. No assessments will be levied for the sanitary sewer, storm sewer, and water main improvements. East Mason Street from Jasper Street to Bader Street is classified as a principal arterial road in a commercially zoned area with a few residential properties. The existing asphalt is an urban road section in poor condition and is in need of reconstruction. East Mason Street will be reconstructed with a concrete pavement with curb and gutter over a gravel base and a typical clear width between 50 and 54 feet. The 2024 assessment rate for asphalt pavement reconstruction is $56.90 per front foot for commercially zoned or used properties. The estimated cost of pavement construction is $840,000. Sanitary sewer, storm sewer, water main rehabilitation and construction will be performed prior to pavement reconstruction. Estimated cost of the sanitary sewer and storm sewer improvements are $30,000 and $130,000 respectively. No assessments will be levied for the sanitary, storm sewer, or water main improvements. The asphalt resurfacing program. Asphalt resurfacing on the streets being considered tonight will consist of milling the existing pavement, eliminating depressions, with a 1 1/2 inch asphalt leveling course and then placing a 1 1/2 inch or more asphalt surface over the entire paved area. Objectives of resurfacing are to provide a smoother roadway surface, eliminate maintenance problems, and to extend the life of the street. Asphalt resurfacing can only be completed on an existing improved street where the base is still in good condition. Once base failure has occurred, The entire street usually has to be reconstructed. Prior to resurfacing any street, utilities will be reconstructed and/or rehabilitated as needed. In addition, preparation work consists of milling the existing asphalt pavement, spot base repair, and curb and gutter repair will be completed. Following factors are considered when determining whether or not the curb and gutter should be mud jacked or replaced. 1, the condition of curb and gutter. 2, the amount of water retained in the gutter. 3, the amount of funds available for curb repair work. All preparation work for asphalt resurfacing is provided at no cost to the property owner. The 2024 assessment rate for asphalt resurfacing is $20.25 per front foot for commercially zoned or used properties. The estimated cost to resurface all of the streets in this year's resurfacing program, that's got to be wrong,
Is wrong, probably 2.5 million.
2.5 million. Personnel from the Department of Public Works Engineering have field inspected the streets included in this hearing and have determined that resurfacing is warranted at this time. The streets being considered for tonight for asphalt resurfacing are Baston Street from Ruth Street to Clement Street, Eastman Avenue between North Irwin Avenue and North Baird Street, North Baird Street between Eastman Avenue and Smith Street, Reber Street between North Jackson Street and North Webster Avenue, Great Court from Delp Avenue to the cul-de-sac, Lincoln Street from Mary Street to Emmett Street, Hudson Street from Western Avenue to Shawano Avenue, Ethel Avenue from Bond Street to Delp Avenue, Berlin Road from Limekiln Road to 1,700 feet west of Limekiln Road. No assessments will be levied for storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and water main improvements. That is the engineer's report for the projects under consideration tonight.
No offense, that's my least favorite part.
All the right. All the right.
Just so I kind of get an idea, so 842,000 is what it sounded like for the project that they're here for. Do you know what the amount is of
Approximately
assessments?
128,000 is subject to assessment, or assessments.
Wow, so not much. really.
Correct.
I didn't think 10,000 sounded like a lot, I'm just gonna say, but that's just me, you know?
Is that divided up? That's divided up over a number of folks? The
Yeah, it's 10, it
120,000.
was 10,000 for the one, so I assume they're all kind of similar. but-
He was 5,600.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow,
so is it by the square footage of their
By
buildings?
the front foot
Okay,
of,
what they
the
got.
frontage of their lot onto Mason Street.
So if they were getting both sides done, it would be a pretty good hit.
If both Mason
You would
and
never
Main
do
were
that.
being constructed, yeah, it would be.
So, I mean, the good thing is they still can get in and out of there because the tax part of it or whatever is nothing compared to the business that you lose it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's another cost, no,
Well, and again,
but it's gonna
the
improve.
number is big because their frontage
Right.
is big.
It's a huge corner.
If they only had 100 feet of frontage, they would be paying a substantially smaller bill. Now, whether that frontage is here at the corner of Mason and Main, if it were on Lime Kiln, if it were on Cherry Street, the dollar per front foot that they would be paying is exactly the same. Their frontage determines the total bill, and whether or not it's a busy street, they pay proportionately less of the cost because the increased cost of construction becomes the total project cost.
For all of us.
Whereas the amount that's being recovered through assessments only is a fraction of that. It's based on a constant rate as opposed to a variable rate due to the
So-
details of the
So just a
construction.
little more breakdown. So most of those businesses, or even a lot more, were the corner. So they're just, but who pays the assessment for the parking lot then? It depends how they divide it up. I mean, the
Like a
property
strip mall.
owner,
Like a strip
the
mall. you might have
property
10
owner
properties.
pays
It
for
could be.
it. They
It
work
depends
out the
on,
payments that
it
way.
depends on the parcel, the tax parcel.
Parcel, that's
Right.
what it goes to.
So when we look
Got
at the
it.
tax parcel, we look at the frontage of that parcel
Okay.
along the street being
So the
reconstructed.
owner, would he split that up with 10, let's say?
That would be up to the owner.
them.
So if
Yeah,
Miss Martin owns that parking lot, she's gonna get assessed all that, right?
Correct.
No matter how she rents it out to them.
Correct.
right.
Well, that's what I was trying to say, you all, it's all part of it, you know?
Yes.
And rents adjusted, not so much
Haven't done
the
one of these in a while.
taxes, you know what I mean? But it's,
Learned a few things.
I get it, you know what I mean? It's, but that's a, It's a, but that's the point I was making. They all benefit from each other by being
Well,
there, so it's.
It was a refresher,
Can
if
I-
nothing else. All the-
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with the
Yes.
projects.
Okay, we have a
As listed.
suggestion for you.
Yes.
Yeah, please
Sorry.
do.
Please do, yeah.
Not too bad.
As far as a motion?
Yes.
Okay.
What we are recommending is that that improvements be ordered constructed and assessments levied for all of the projects in the program, with the exception of North Maple Street from Walnut Street to Mather, 4th Street from Broadway to South Maple Street, which is included on the agenda, but not in the engineer's report.
Okay.
The mailings, because there are statutory requirements on days in advance, those two projects are being held until the 2025 program, but we had already sent out the notice of the hearing, so we had to go forward with the hearing, even though we're not going to be constructing the
Is the
project.
camera working? Look at all their camel.
Okay.
They look like
well,
Scano.
So moved.
Okay.
So moved by.
And then, so that would happen, and then for North Maple Avenue and 4th Street, that no action be taken, and we hold until the 2025 program.
So moved.
So
Yeah.
moved by Heck. Do we have a
Second.
second? By Campbell, all in favor?
Aye.
Please say aye. Oh, do you have something? Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Alder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are these all the streets in total, the asphalt resurfacing and pavement, or do we have another category of streets that we're doing? Are there any?
That's all of them for resurfacing this year, correct?
Because we have resurfacing and pavement.
We have some concrete ones we're doing, or?
No, but one of the things that we talked to you about earlier this year was potentially bringing forward another program.
Yeah.
We're still working
Oh,
on
good,
that.
okay, that's kind of where I was going, but that's still applied this year, maybe to do
Yeah.
test ones?
Oh, no, the whole idea is to bring you another program this year.
Oh, do it.
Like St.
Yeah.
Agnes and Western Avenue?
Well,
I just said
St.
comment.
Agnes is
Go ahead.
bad.
The only one really we had discussion tonight was that East Mason, and I will say, you know, I get where they're coming from, they don't want to pay, it's a large amount. However, prior to the wheel tax,
been more.
wheel fee, it would have been more, and it's been 43 years since they've been assessed, that's a long
Right.
time.
Well, that's
Or
what I
55
took
years,
it.
since that is a long time. And
It's a
I-
busy intersection,
James,
but it hasn't been
or
replaced for how
cameras
long?
out.
So that point is kind of me, in my opinion.
And I know there's more pounding on the pavement, but also that there's 35,000 days of high is a great
Yes.
benefit, because you get tons of people coming in, so.
well,
Picture of the picture.
Director, I'm glad you, the way you stated it, I mean, I needed a
Yeah, that was-
refresher on that too, the fact that even though it could be a more expensive project, that, you know,
It's the
it's
poor
divvied
guy who
up
just bought the
by
property.
all of us.
He's like,
We all take
what?
care
That's
of
always
it.
a sneaky way to do it. We know this road's coming quick.
Are we,
Sell
we
this
wait for
thing.
But did they know?
the screen?
I don't,
Steve?
and it was only half of what he said.
I signed a 3-year lease on 41, and then things were going good, and then I signed a 5-year.
Oh, no.
And then they came through and did the highway that took out 4 years. of
That is a lot.
I'll tell you that.
Traffic stream.
And the thing
Jen
is,
is
they took,
freaking out 'cause
they
we're
took
not-
the ramps away.
I don't want to be by myself,
It
she
killed me,
said.
so I had to get out of it. I lost
We're back.
$7,500
So
a
number
year.
Do we,
Now we can go to number
You know,
9.
by the
All
way,
right.
I had a $1
Okay.
million property on Main Street that happened.
we'll talk about that
Wow,
tonight.
you are-
That's crazy.
Let
You
me,
can't tell when
hold
they're
on,
gonna
let's
be- Okay,
get,
number
let's keep
8.
moving here.
Yep.
That's a
Frank.
problem.
Number 9.
Never.
8.
8? Did you say number 8?
9.
No, remember,
Oh, it
you
is
said,
9.
remember you said you could have come back to 9. You wrote it down.
I
All
wrote
right.
down 8.
No, you wrote
No,
down
number 9, I did, oh, that's right, I was saying it was 8 out of 17 that we finished, okay.
And my
All
Got
right.
name's,
it.
my name's
Okay.
Campbell, not Mary.
Hey,
Yeah, I
kids,
wasn't the one who did
Campbell.
that, but, you know.
calm down,
You're right,
please,
9.
all of you. Let me read this. Consideration with possible action on request by the Department of Public Works to award design services contracts to Grafe in the amount of $77,686 for the rehabilitation of the Dans Avenue Bridge over Baird Creek, B5058, and $75,501 for the rehabilitation of the 7th Street Bridge over Beaver Dam Creek, P-5-718. Director.
Dan's Avenue Bridge over Bear Creek was originally constructed in 1962. The bridge is a single-span flat slab with concrete abutments to improve driving conditions and prolong the usable service life of the structure. DPW is looking to rehabilitate, seeking rehabilitation recommendations to address the deck wearing surface, which has widespread areas of cracking, debonding, and spalling. 7th Street Bridge over Beaver Dam Creek was originally constructed in 1968. The single-span bridge comprises 18 pre-stressed concrete channel beams overlaid with varying depths of concrete supported by concrete plank and HP pile abutments. To improve the driving conditions and prolong the usable service life of this structure, DPW is seeking rehabilitation recommendations to address the deck wearing surface and approach slabs. The deck wearing surface has significant pitting throughout and full-length longitudinal cracks at most channel beam connections, and the deck approaches have settled and are causing damage to the edges of the brick deck. Public Works staff solicited consultant proposals from 13 engineering firms to design the rehabilitation of the bridges. Proposals were reviewed based on a combination of qualifications, strength of team, and cost. Public Works is recommending award of a professional services contract for the design of the bridge rehabilitations to Grafe, the lowest responding bidder. Design funds were included in the 2024 CIP.
So it's already been earmarked, as you say.
The money is there. That was part of our capital program for this year.
Okay. Alderman?
Can I ask what the timeline is once we approve this?
They will begin evaluations on those bridges this year. The intent is to get the consultant engaged and get design work done this year with the hopes of getting those bridges submitted into the WSDOT Bridge Rehabilitation Program once we have design recommendations.
Okay, so it'll be a while before the construction happens.
Correct.
And the second one is in my district. I'm going to make a motion to approve.
Motion by Eck, seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay, we're down to number 10, I hope. Report the award of a design services contract for the structural rehabilitation of the Ray Nitschke Memorial Bridge to Majeski and Masters in the amount of $348,412. Director.
Okay, Ray Nitschke Memorial Bridge was originally constructed in 1998. The structural components of the bridge, including the steel coating system and the expansion joints, are starting to approach the end of their usable service life and require repair. Structural rehab of the bridge will prolong the overall service life of the structure. DPW has requested and reviewed consultant proposals to complete the design of this structural rehab. Consultant proposals were solicited from 8 firms to do the design work on structural rehab for the bridge due to a compressed time frame necessary to complete the design. DPW did request the ability to award at a staff level at the February 28th, 2024 INS meeting to escalate the award of the contract to begin the design as soon as possible. Consultant proposals were reviewed and an award was made based on a combination of qualifications, strength of team, and cost. Phase 1 design funding was included in the 2024 CIP. Phase 2 design funding will come forward as part of our 2025 request. So what we are doing is simply reporting out to you that we did award that design contract to Majeski and Masters in the amount of $348,412.
Receive.
Okay.
So, motion to receive and place on file.
Okay, by Eck, do we have a second? Second by Wery?
Yep.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Number 11, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works Utility Division to award purchase of a Toyota RAV4 hybrid from Lemieux and Son Inc. for the purchase price of $34,769. Director?
What we're looking at here is to pick up an SUV that's going to replace a half-ton pickup we're currently using. The half-ton pickup will be shuttled down in the fleet to replace a Ford Transit Connect van that's currently being used by our locator. This money is all included within the equipment replacement funds for sanitary and storm divisions.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Worry, seconded by Eck. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed? That passes unanimously. Number 12, consideration with possible action on a request by the Department of Public Works to award a design services contract to McMahon in the amount of $67,995 for the design of the replacement of the Grandview Road Bridge over Bear Creek, P-5-728. Director.
The Grandview Road Bridge is on a small rural segment of road out beyond the I-43 Industrial Park, so kind of out where the Carnivore project is being built. That's Grandview Road that runs along Carnivore. So if you get about a mile north of the Carnivore facility,
It's been a long night.
this bridge was built out there in 1970. It's a single span of pre-stressed concrete girder box beams with a bituminous asphalt overlay, but it has wooden timber abutment and timber wing walls. Those wing walls have been failing for as long as I've been with the city, and I've been here for over 16 years now. So the substructure of the bridge continues to decay. It's not cost effective for us to try to rehab that. We're going to have to replace it. In order to do that, we're going to get a bridge designer in here to take a look at it and make a recommendation on that. So we did, similar to the other two bridge projects that we've already talked about, we did solicit consultant proposals from 13 firms to design the replacement bridge. Proposals, again, were reviewed on a combination of qualification, strength of team, and cost. DPW is recommending the award of the professional services contract for the design of that bridge replacement to McMahon in the amount of $67,995.
Move to approve.
Committee?
Second.
Worry, motion, seconded by Eck. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Number 13, consideration with possible action on request by the Department of Public Works to award the following contracts at a staff level and report the awarded contractor at the next improvement and services meeting. Do I need to read all of this?
I'm okay if you don't.
The mini
H
sewer
through K.
contract, the sewer repair contract, a second mini sewer contract, the Barina Creek stormwater pond dredging, that's a maintenance on one of our stormwater management facilities. The asphalt paving contract is not the asphalt resurfacing, this is the larger contract patching, and this will likely include the program where we're going to do the pavement rehabs. So this is the program that Alder Weary and I were discussing earlier. Both of the resurfacing contracts, the South Maple Avenue, Finger Road projects that we discussed tonight, another reconstruction on Woodlawn, that Woodlawn has no assessment, so it didn't have to go to public hearing, and then the Cass Street project that was in tonight's. Again, these are all on fast track, and they're going to fall within either summer schedule or what's going on with the election in April, and just messing up our ability to get the contracts awarded, so.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck,
Second.
seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Number 14, report of actions taken by the Department of Public Works, granting of licenses, sidewalk builder. We got 4 here: Brian's Quality Concrete, County Contracting LLC, Royal Flush Plumbing, and Tilson Technology Management.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Second.
Oh, sorry, there
No,
was
we
one
got-
more.
Let's finish.
I didn't
That's
scroll
fine.
down, sorry.
That's fine. And then we have Tree and Brush Trimmer, County Contracting LLC. Okay.
Motion to receive and place on file.
Okay, by Heck. Do we have a
Second.
second? Second by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That passes unanimously. Number 15, consideration with possible action on request by the Department of Public Works to award contract pavement repair 2024 to Al Dix Concrete, Inc. in the amount of $2,030,500. Director.
So we've included a copy of the bid tabulation from the contract. We had 2 bidders this year, Al Dix Concrete and Highway Landscapers. Al Dix, both of these contractors have had the contract in the past. We have been satisfied with the work that they provide, so recommendation is to award to Al Dix in the amount stipulated.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck, seconded by,
Second.
second by Weary. Any other discussion? This is for the coming year or?
Yeah, that's for the 24.
Construction.
Oh, that was a pavement repair, not sidewalks.
It's a
My
pavement.
mistake.
Okay.
Number 15.
All right, any
That's
other,
pavement.
okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, that passes unanimously. All right, let's see. Number 16, Consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to award contract sidewalks 2024 to Highway Landscapers, Inc. in the amount of $1,344,065. Director.
In this case, there were 3 contractors that bid on it, Highway Landscapers, McDonald Services, and Al Dix Concrete. Highway Landscapers was the low responsive bidder, so staff is recommending award.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Eck,
Second.
seconded by Campbell. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Number 17, consideration with possible action on request by Department of Public Works to approve an amendment to the professional services agreement for Country Club Road with Ayers Associates, Inc. in the amount of $5,700. That period really hit me. The amendment is for the consultant to create the transfer instruments for the TLEs and order and review the title reports. These functions were originally planned to be completed in-house, but will now be completed by the consultant due to a retirement of city right-of-way specialist. Director.
So much like one of the earlier items that we had talked about with Tom Geezy's impending retirement, the real estate acquisitions, we're going to need some outside help. Ayers is a consultant on the project. While it's a very small dollar amount, $5,700, the original contract, again, exceeded $25,000, so an amendment to the contract would be appropriate to bring forward.
Move to approve.
Motion by
Second.
Weary, seconded by Eck. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Informational Director's Report.
A couple of things that we want to bring to your attention tonight. As the warm weather is here and people are getting itchy about wanting us to start yard waste and cleanup.
Wow, yeah. We still have winter here, right?
We do.
Let's
We've
check
been
on
trying
it.
to warn people that this is fall, spring, and we've got winter coming back, but they don't want to listen. As things are sitting right now, we are tentatively looking at spring collection being between April 15th and May 20th. That will give us 5 weeks of spring collection, terminating on or about Mother's Day, which is historically where we do that. We are going to be putting some advertising on trucks, so you may see those trucks running around throughout your districts. In advertising.
You'll have your picture on it.
Well, no, not mine.
Why
Call
not?
him.
Because we want people to pay attention now on
Okay.
streaming.
Good on the side.
Advertising that we have
Picture
an
on it.
interactive yard waste map on our website that's going to be deployed this year.
Oh,
It'll be
nice.
color coded to indicate the routes we're currently in, the route we just completed, the route that is yet to be, and we'll continue to update that on a daily basis, so folks will be able just to log in and be able to see as close as we can. Give them a better estimate of when they're, where the trucks are and when they can expect them to come to their house.
Did you say website or Facebook?
If they will come to the city's website
Okay.
and on the search bar, just type in yard waste.
Here.
A page will pop up, and when you click on that page, that's where we're gonna park them at.
Okay.
Beautiful, I love names.
We came to you a while back and had a contract approved for the siphon that goes underneath the East River near East High School. And we told you we were taking that siphon out and putting the gravity sewer in. That project has gone exceedingly well, especially with the warm weather we've had, and that's almost complete.
Nice.
So that one we almost have our first construction project for the year completed. We are getting the bulk of our construction bid out, so Chuck's staff, for those of you who have not met, Chuck Yang is our new assistant city engineer. Chuck's been a staff engineer with us
Since 2014.
okay, almost 10 years.
Nice.
So Chuck did take the appointment as the assistant city engineer, and he's attending his first public hearing. As
Congratulations.
assistant city engineer.
They might change their mind.
But Chuck's staff has been very busy, as you can see, with all the projects that we've been bringing to you for requests to approve and then reporting those out. And again, we don't take that lightly. We do appreciate you placing that trust in us to get this work completed. So we have a lot of construction gearing up to get out. And just a reminder for you, we have started receiving phone calls this time every year. Last Tuesday at council, one of the resolutions that you passed was the annual sidewalk resolution. As a matter of fact, Alder Hutchison pulled that item because the district numbers were messed up, and I've worked with IT, we've got that reconciled now. But the minute we put that resolution out and we notify folks that it's sidewalk time, the calls start coming in. So we have started fielding those. You as alders, be expecting your phones to ring as well.
Oh, yeah.
They do come to you.
All right,
So that's it.
that's it?
Yes.
They're all caused by city trees in my district.
Yeah,
I don't know about the
yeah,
other district.
that's
Pretty
right.
sure.
Amazing how
Motion to
trees only grow
adjourn.
like that in District 8.
Do we
Second.
need-
Oh, no, I'm sorry, motion to receive and place on file the director's report.
Yes, by Eck, do we have a
apologize.
second? Second by
He said it.
Campbell. All in favor, please say aye. Our next
Aye.
Improvement and Services Committee meeting will be scheduled for March 27th, 2024.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Eck,
Second.
second by Campbell. All in favor, please say aye.
What is that?
Aye.
March what?
That is it. Thanks for all your.
37th.
Oh, it's right there.